Hi, we're Ralph and Lahni, DeAmicis, authors of the Planetary Calendar, and we are fresh off a crazy holiday season. It was crazy for us anyway, so I hope it was crazy in an enjoyable way, but that's only because I'm a Scorpio. So,
Yes.
but we have a lot of things to look forward to. Not the least of which is the end of 2023, which was a challenging year for many people. And January starts out with a bang. There's a lot of activity right on New Year's Day. And just to give you a little kind of a heads up about what the year's going to look like, I'm going to throw it to Ralph because he's got a lot to say.
Yep. So I'm actually going to work right from our day planner for the planetary calendar with that beautiful picture of Saturn there. And in fact, you go around the corner, you see the southern pole with the incredible blue light of the southern pole.
Can I just mention something about
Sure.
that Saturn?
Sure.
Because later on in the year, when we get to the Chinese New Year, which is in February, we're going to be entering the year of the wood dragon.
Yes.
And Saturn plays such a big part in the energy of wood. And in fact, the dragon, which is a year to organize, establish new foundations in preparation for success.
Exactly.
So it looks like it's going to be a good year. So let's find out from Ralph if
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, typically in the Chinese culture, dragons are seen as very positive, which is cool.
Energetic and renewal, a beginning of a new cycle. And so Saturn is there to help you put your plans in place so that you don't miss any opportunities.
And in time for the Chinese New Year, the new moon in Aquarius, we do, which will be on February 9th, 10th, we will be doing the annual forecast for that. We do our big forecast for that. So look for that at the beginning of February. Now, when you go into the beginning of the planetary calendar, there's a little thing here which you should read called Strategizing the Year Ahead. And it talks about how to plan the year. Like, for instance, don't plan things in between the eclipses. You know, it's 2 eclipse groups this year. Don't do important stuff in between because it's just too crazy. And also about the Mercury retrogrades. And it talks about basically how to use these tools to be most effective. But beyond that, we're assuming you have the planetary calendar because why wouldn't you? It's really such a tremendous tool, around since 1949, and it's only getting better. Let's look at the year ahead, okay? Now, we got a very hard-working January, okay? But Mercury, fortunately, which has been retrograde through the end of December, turns around on the 1st. So it really helps things start picking up speed. By February, Mercury's going to be moving fast, so communications will really get better. The cool thing is that in the early part of the year, Jupiter is in comfort-loving Taurus, which is very, very nice, and it's making nice aspects to Saturn in Pisces. Okay, so that first part of the year is going to be very, very nice. Saturn in Pisces is very compassionate, and which is unusual for Saturn, but Saturn can do that. Saturn usually likes to work in the big view, but this is more personal. Jupiter in Taurus means accomplishing things very practically. It's funny, they're saying that in the luxury industry, people are being more conservative about what they're spending. Well, that's because it's Jupiter in Taurus. It's Jupiter, it's your ability to express externally, to make things bigger than life. But Taurus is a little conservative. Taurus is the farmer. They kind of plan for, hard times. So this is one of the reasons why the economy's been a little doing well in a solid way, but people are spending more on the things that matter to them. Now, as the year goes on, Venus has no retrogrades this year, which means things that matter to Taurus and to Libra, the 2 ruling signs, which are basically money, art, agriculture, love, all of these things, social relationships, are going to really move forward. The earth, right, exactly, Taurus, the earth. It's going to really move forward. There's going to be a lot of progress in this area. So, a lot of people have been talking about how many people suffer from loneliness during the holidays, but this is an annual process. An annual problem is really the word. Really this idea to encourage people to be more social, especially post-pandemic, to make more connections, be involved with more groups, develop deep relationships with other people that matter, where you contribute, really has a chance to make a lot of progress, I think.
Remember, again, new beginnings. So
Right.
change what you were doing and find some new and exciting way to be.
Yeah. Now, as the year goes on, first of all, Pluto's going to change sign. Pluto's going to go after being in Capricorn forever. And some people take that really personally.
Yeah.
It's now moving into Aquarius, and that's going to dip back into Capricorn in the course of the year. And that pattern of stepping in and out of the Capricorn, the conservative, Aquarius, the change agent, really describes the polarity that we have going on in our country right now, or globally, is between people who want to continue with the old ways of powering everything and the new ways of powering everything. Between the old way of doing stuff, well, I'm not worried about it, I'll be gone by the time this is a problem, to the young people saying, we're not going to be gone by the time this problem shows up.
Well, but also, I'm a Scorpio, so call me a glutton for punishment, but I like the idea that the transition doesn't happen so very clearly marked, because it gives you time to go back and say, yeah, I want to burn down everything and start all over again. But then you go back and you say, well, did I have that plan in place? Because you can't do that unattended bonfire, all on your own. So you've got to go back and review how many other tendrils that's going to have in order for you to really implement that forward motion in Aquarius. Because remember, Aquarius is the sign of the people. So you've been making these decisions about changing, these profound changes are happening in the outer world, but you're relating them to yourself. And when Pluto leaves Capricorn and goes into Aquarius, you're going to have to say, how does that translate into the greater worlds?
Exactly. And I will say to anyone who thinks, oh, well, I'm not going to be here, I'm older, I'm not going to be here when climate change is an issue, remember one word: reincarnation. Before the Council of Nicaea, with Christianity believed firmly in reincarnation. It was at the Council of Nicaea when, under the Emperor Constantine, they redesigned Christianity and they got rid of reincarnation. They wrote it out of the script. But anyone who's into a spiritual life knows reincarnation is how we improve. So unless you're really sure that this is your final one, maybe you should recycle, right?
Well, and there might be a couple other words you want to add to that, and they are children, grandchildren, etc.
Yes.
If you want to leave a legacy, somebody has to be around to revere you.
Exactly. But remember, reincarnation, we want to make sure the planet's going to be here for a while in good shape as much as possible. So that's really what we're looking forward to. It's helpful to realize, too, that the last time that Pluto was dipping back and forth between Capricorn and Aquarius was in 1778, in the early years of the American Republic. So coming out of last year, Pluto actually had a return to where it was at the time of the American Revolution. But now we're in the years after that, the early years. So we are reimagining ourselves as a country.
And how interesting is that? Because how many starts and stops, go in this direction, no, go back in this direction, did it take for them to figure out what kind of government or what kind of country they want to live in? And so doesn't that mirror a little bit of what's going on now? A redesign, a readjustment, and trying new things and seeing if they work. So it's very interesting that the planets can send you the same lessons, but what you do with them is what makes the transit different.
I think it's going to be very interesting, especially when Jupiter goes into Gemini, because Gemini is a very prominent sign in the original chart of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. So now on to Capricorn. Let me read this quick little paragraph here about what we write at the very beginning, in case you don't have the calendar or you forgot to read it.
You mean on to January?
January, yes.
Yes.
What did I say? Something?
Capricorn.
Oh, well, same
and
thing.
And it is still in Capricorn when it starts.
Well, when you look at the page right up here, it has Saturn in the center, and then it has the sign Aquarius to the left, Capricorn to the left and Aquarius to the right, because it shows the transition between the signs, which, after all, the signs matter. And the planets. the glyphs. The month will move along at a good pace, thanks to only Uranus being retrograde, with Mercury coming off station to turn direct on the 1st. Issues related to communication may be off to a slow start. Don't worry, by February, Mercury will be moving along at a good clip, and those issues will resolve. With Mars, Mercury, and Venus sequentially moving into Capricorn, your determined hard work will yield especially good results. The year is winding down towards the Lunar Spring Festival at the Aquarius New Moon on February 9th, when the Earth's energy is most withdrawn. That will begin the year of the wooden dragon, so use January to tie up any loose ends hanging over from the past year. We suggest you complete any traveling before that date because the following week, February 9th on, is ideal for staying close to home and putting everything in order.
And you've got an A on the first there that looks like
Yes.
the note is mainly good. The aspects are pretty nice. But remember, when planets change signs or directions, we got Mercury going direct that day. And there's a lot of other aspects on the line, including a square, Venus, Saturn square, and the sunshine moon.
Yep.
Even that Sun parallel Pluto takes on a strength because after all it's the Sun and after all it's Pluto.
Yes.
And with Uranus highlighted above, this is a turbulent day. This is what we define by the word turbulent.
Yes.
So although it's mostly beneficial and exciting, it can be a little bit turbulent. So keep that in mind with your New Year's Day plans.
Yeah, keep in mind too that the new moon is going to be on January 11th, and then the full moon will be on January 25th when the sun is in Aquarius. So, in this first part of the month, we're winding down to the 11th in the new moon. So energy, generally speaking, is still sinking a bit. So, but that's normal this time of year. We have such long night times and short days. So the next one is the 4th. Oh, what do we have going on the 4th? Oh,
Mars.
Mars. Yes.
So we got the two troublemakers, or the little feisty ones,
Yes.
Mercury and Mars, jumping right into 2024.
Yes. March forges into Capricorn is what we wrote, with good aspects to Jupiter and Saturn, which Mars just loves. So focus your physical energy and passion on practical achievements that satisfy your heart and soul. By the way, any Capricorns out there, enjoy. The Cancers, you might want to stay home and cook.
On that day, or
that
the
day.
whole time that Mars is in Capricorn?
No, on that time. In truth, Mars in Capricorn is the exalted position. It means the best friend position or the colleague position. People of Mars in Capricorn are ridiculously industrious, and it's because of their connection to Saturn. So they tend to be very ambitious. So this tends to be an ambitious time.
Yeah.
Okay. And then on to C.
On Saturday is Three Kings Day, or
Epiphany.
as we like to call it,
Astrologer's Day.
because the three wise men were
the
astrologers
yes.
following the stars. So
Yes.
that's kind of a great day for us and the community, I think. And it's the day to take down your Christmas tree, as far as I'm concerned.
It's also the Epiphany, which is funny because it's a word we use a lot. Oh, I have had an epiphany about this or that. So, but it's also in the Spanish cultures, the day in which all the astrologers come on TV and do their forecast for the year. So we should do that in Spanish.
There you go. I think very quickly I want to mention that the void of courses that are in that first week are very short and should not be too problematic. That's not the same refrain that I'm going to say for the following week. But on the 7th, there's a void of course that's very short. And on the 11th, there's a void of course that's very short. But the two voids in that second week of January, on Tuesday the 9th and on Saturday the 13th, are pretty long voids. So the void, of course, on the 9th starts out in Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter, so it
Yes.
shouldn't be that bad. But I have people tell me, if I'm a Sagittarius, I'm going to feel that anyway. So keep that in mind when you're making your plans for your schedule for that day. A little bit of lack of attention or things not quite going the way that you envision them. And the same happens on the 13th, except this time the moon goes void when it's in Aquarius. So really anything could happen. So watch out for technology giving you problems and things. And that really is the whole day. That's from like 2:00 in the morning till 7:30 at night. So that's really the longest one. The one on the 9th is from 10:30 to 5:30. So that's most of the day as well. So just a word to the wise, you people who are sensitive to that moon, you know who you are.
Yes. Now, on the 11th is you can tell it real quick on the calendar because it has a little gray frame around it. It's the new moon. It's the new moon at, let's see, 20 degrees Capricorn. So if you have anything at 20 degrees Capricorn, you're going to really notice it. This is a real low-key new moon, but it's real important for you to kind of go beyond your own interests and really pay attention to world events at this time. On the Sagittarians, just so you know, you have a tendency to say things that might be taken wrong. Really depend on your charm at this time. You'll find it very, very helpful.
They are very charming.
And keep you out of trouble. So
you have to look at that white circle on the 12th and keep your eye on the prize on that new moon day.
Yeah, exactly. On the 12th, you have a white circle, which means energy is flowing really well. You have the moon's making a whole bunch of good aspects to Mars, Pluto, Mercury, Venus. It's even making a parallel to Venus at the same time.
And Mars trine Jupiter.
And Mars trine Jupiter. That's a real powerful aspect because both of them are highly energized. They're very into physical expression, and so and it's Mars exalted and Jupiter in Taurus. So I mean, it's a real earthy, practical expression.
And that's actually a really, really especially good white circle day. And the reason for that is that it involves mostly a day with real personal planets. Mars, Mercury, Venus, even Jupiter, Sun, Moon. It's really very, very personal. The outers are not involved in it very much at all, just that Pluto. And so you feel that your personal strength, your personal ideas with the Mercury, your personal comfort levels, your personal energy with the Mars, Jupiter, your optimism with that. It's really an excellent. So if you're planning for something that really needs a good starting date, needs to be kicked off, needs to be finalized or created, the 12th of January.
And on the next day, on the 13th, Mercury enters Capricorn. Now, Mercury in Capricorn, it's not so much a strong position. It's a very level-headed position. It's very hard-working. So really think about like serious decisions. But Mars is already there. And Mars is so strong. And whenever you have a planet move into the same sign with a planet that's in rulership, it's
strength.
It's like you suddenly you came into a situation where you have someone who really knows the score. They really know what's going on, and all you have to do is kind of get next to them, and they're going to give you all the cues that you need.
Take the cue. That's exactly what I was going to say. Take the cue from them.
Exactly. And then on the 15th, which is Martin Luther King Day, is another white circle.
Now this one is a very different kind of white circle because there's a lot of outer planet movement in this day with Uranus, Neptune, Pluto well aspected to the moon. And in fact, Neptune is the only positive aspect above the line except for that sun sextile moon. So this is a day to imagine. This is a day to create something new. This is ideas. This is idealism. This is, a real pat on the back for your ideas on this day. So it's can be an indicator that your ideas are really to be lauded and applauded, and so that they can move along that way.
It's really a helpful day to remember that you have guides. We have the expression, fish are not aware of water. Most humans are not aware that we're surrounded by spirit and that we have other guides at other levels who are watching over for us and suggest things to us and help guide us. This is a really good day to remember that. This is a really good day to kind of get in contact with your guides, because those outer planets really help you resonate into those frequencies.
I think this is a day where the guides will remind you.
Probably, yes. Probably. If you don't pay attention to them, they will remind you.
They will tap on your shoulder.
Yes, they will.
Yeah.
Then the next thing is on the 18th.
Wow, look at that lineup above the number.
Gosh.
Of course, those are aspects to the moon. So the lineup goes Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, Jupiter again, Mars, Uranus. And this is a good time for a reminder. Jupiter twice means one of them is a parallel and one is a positive aspect, a supportive aspect. And remember also that they're lined up that way because that's the order in which they happen. So the first Jupiter aspect to the moon happens earlier in the day, and then Uranus aspect to the moon happens at the later part of the day.
Whenever you have a lot of planets, a lot of glyphs above the number or below the number, it means it's a very social day. This is all aspects to the moon. The moon's moving very fast. It's kind of like being in a household and how many people are coming to see your mom kind of thing. It's like that kind of aspect. And so it's a very, very social day where the aspects to the right tend to be longer strategy. What's interesting on this day is the aspect to the right is with Mercury, which is one of the personal planets. So once again, it's this contact. Now, I was emailing back and forth with someone who was looking at the calendar recently in Switzerland. And they mentioned, it doesn't tell you the aspects of the moon. This is one of the places where this calendar was designed to be educational. And it also is designed to a certain extent for people who are enthusiasts in astrology or astrologers.
And it's a participation sport.
Yes. And in other words, it tells you that those are all positive aspects. It doesn't really tell you, because the numbers are above, the glyphs are above the number. They're all positive. We're not saying whether it's a conjunction, a sextile, or a trine. They're all positive. And that's really what matters. The connection is less important with the moon because the aspects are happening so fast. But you can use your brain and say, well, let me look. Where is Jupiter on that day? Oh, well, that moon's in Taurus that day. Where's Jupiter's in Taurus. It's a conjunction. So we expect you to use your brain.
Well, that's why you can refer back to the
Right.
typed ephemeris that's right on the page. It's handy to be right there.
But it's also because we want you to use your brain. We want you to continue to improve your knowledge. The idea behind the calendar has always been that if you start off in January and you actually use these tools in the course of the year, by the end of the year, your astrological skills are better than at the beginning of the year.
Well, and you can also even estimate the degree
Right.
because we've included in the last couple of years, we've included the degree when of the beginning of at the beginning of the month for each of the planets, so you can kind of estimate how fast they travel or that where the moon is making that change is going to be that 0 degrees. So how close to that change that's going to happen. So there's a lot that you can understand about the relationships and the geometry of
Right. It's all about the
of
geometry.
it. Yes.
So where were we? That was 18th. So
Yes.
the 20th. Oh, of course. This is a really monumental day, the 20th, and it has a little fence around it. Why? Because it's the day in which the sun enters Aquarius. But it's also the day in which Pluto enters Aquarius, and it's within 10 hours of each other. And what's interesting about that is, first of all, what does it tell us? It tells us the two are conjunct. And Pluto, which takes a ridiculously long time to change signs, has just changed signs coincidentally with the sun. So we're really going to feel this. This is one of those paradigm shifts that we're going to feel as Pluto goes into Aquarius. Pluto's going from Capricorn, from the sign of the grandmother, the sign of the traditional, the sign of seriousness, to the sign of social awareness.
And what I like about this is that Pluto is the sign of the hidden, or symbolizes the hidden, and the sun symbolizes the light of day. So there's another indication here that at least the intentions of Pluto will be a lot more understood, visible, because this ingress happens under the beams of the sun.
Right. Meanwhile, the sun is trine the moon. Okay, because this moon's going to go into Gemini. So you have a tremendous amount of energy going on for the air signs, for Gemini, for Libra, and for Aquarius. So if you have strong air in your chart, make sure you get out into the sun that day. Get outside and get some natural light. Don't lock yourself in a room. Also, spend some time attracting spiritual light into your life. Really allow that to infuse your field. Remember, with the air signs, they're very light sensitive. That's why people with strong air a lot of times have a hard time sleeping if a room isn't dark. But if they don't have enough light during the day, they can get depressed because they are they're air signs or they're light signs.
I need to point it out. It is not a typo. There was a 1 minute void of course that day. 1 minute. In fact, the one on the 18th is only a few minutes as well. That's 9-minute void of course. And then the one on the 15th. So we've got all these short ones in this week, short voids, is only about 16 minutes. So I'm not even going to say anything about what sign they're in or anything like that because you'd have to be really sensitive to feel that for a minute.
Yep, we're going to have to move this along. On the 23rd, the Venus is going to move into Capricorn. This is a real serious, ambitious sign. People take their pleasure seriously, might say. They might want to start ordering the more expensive wines. Also, Capricorn, or if you have strong Capricorn in your moon, your rising, expect to feel more attractive to other people. Those people turning and looking at you as you walk past.
And some people think that Venus in Capricorn is restrictive to Venusian endeavors, but Venus has a good relationship with Saturn.
Yeah.
So she really gets along very well in Capricorn.
Yes.
Feels like the boss.
Yes, Saturn's exalted in Libra, after all. Now, the 25th is the full moon. The moon is going to be full at 5 degrees Leo. So if you have anything near 5 degrees Aquarius or Leo, you are going to notice it. That's K.
The 27th, another white circle day.
Yeah, another white circle. Yeah, we've had a lot wonderful white circles this month.
They're exceptional, aren't they?
Yes. What does it say in here at the 27th? That's L. Get those forgotten and neglected tasks done and enlist help of helpers if necessary. You've got the wind at your back and helpers are willing. Isn't that nice? So a great day to enlist help. And then finally on M, which is the 28th, the next day, you have those nice aspects. Look, Venus trine Jupiter.
Hey, don't you love back-to-back white circles on the weekend?
Mercury trine Uranus with Jupiter making good aspects to the moon from Taurus to Virgo. Oh my gosh, isn't that nice?
Yeah, that looks like an exciting day.
Yeah.
Exciting day.
Yeah. M, and then I just realized we're missing N. Oh my gosh, this is a typo, Lahni. We're missing N. Why did we write N on there?
I don't see M either.
No, M is on there, right there. Oh, you're missing it over there? Oh my gosh. We got to fire the typo designer. Sorry about that. But the thing that matters is that the M and the N is actually, I don't see quite why we have it on there. Because the aspects aren't significant. Another sun trine moon. Though it's the sun trine moon after the full, which is a very positive one. So, but that pretty much covers it.
So, visit us at planetarycalendar.com for your calendar. We'll have to.
We put it in the forecast. So, if anyone wonders about it, we're just going to say to them, watch the video forecast. Yes.
Right.
I love that. We'll see you next month and watch for our forecast for the Chinese New Year. It's going to be an interesting one.
On YouTube at Planetary Calendar Astrology on YouTube.
Exactly. And visit us at planetarycalendar.com to get your calendars and to see the other videos about how to use the calendar and the extended forecast.
See, Saturn's the timekeeper and it caught up with us today.
It did.
See you next time.